I said I picked Boston in the East because I think once you go, unlike March Madness, where you can fool people. I mean, listen, an official calls a tight game, Zion gets in foul trouble, you can be out of a tournament. In the NBA, I play 7 times. I just need guys who can get a bucket. Kyrie's just a guy who can get me a bucket. I don't need an inbound play. I don't need a great coach. The only difference in the Celtics-Indiana series is Kyrie Irving. He can just get a bucket. I mean, come on now. You watch that Celtic team. Who gets a bucket better than the East than him?
Nobody. I'm with you on Kyrie. He is fantastic.
Oh.
He is one of the two or three best clutch players in the league right now.
Harden, if you just said, okay, 30 seconds, I need a bucket. Harden, Durant, Steph, Kyrie,
Damian Lillard hovering around there. But yeah, Kyrie's right there. I mean, because he can get a shot anytime he wants. His handle, I've said it, his handle is the best in the history of the league.
Chris,
so he can get wherever he wants to go. And he can shoot.
A good shot.
Right. A good shot. And he can finish. Like, he's got the entire package. However, slow your roll on the Celtics.
What?
They're going down in 5 or 6 to Milwaukee in the next round. Book it. And when it happens, the uninformed are going to say, oh, they went further without Kyrie. They're better without Kyrie. No, it will have nothing to do with Kyrie Irving. If you look at their past, last year, they go to games. They go 7 with Milwaukee in the first round. All this talk about them getting to the Eastern Conference Finals, they could have easily been done in the first round. Why did they beat Milwaukee last year? Because they had a tremendous coaching advantage. It was Joe Prunty, the interim coach at that time for the Bucks. When they meet Milwaukee in the next round, they're not going to have a coaching advantage. Budenholzer is as good as Brad Stevens. Talent is even, and even though Kyrie's the better clutch player, Giannis is the better overall player. Now, I'll give you this. I won't be shocked if Boston wins the East.
We apologize for all the mean things you just said to me.
No, I won't be shocked. They're a really good team.
By the way, you know when Boston's good? In the last 3 or 4 years, I know LeBron beat him. Just take out LeBron. He's gone now. Boston's the best team in the East if you just take out LeBron James, a player, in the last minute of halves and games. If you just take LeBron out, you give Philadelphia no chance to beat Boston. Why? Because you don't trust Philly with a minute left.
Right.
And you do trust Boston.
No question.
And that's where, when I watched Boston last night, there was, even late, I'm like, oh, Boston's going to seal this thing up.
Well, they could have lost that game.
Of course they could have.
Because
if you're that was the toughest.
Right. That three-pointer that Wesley Matthews took with 30 seconds left, was the best shot they could get. And then he threw it out of bounds, of course, on the next possession. So, but you're right. Look, they won sometimes in the playoffs. Cleveland went 7 with Indiana in the first round. What I will give you is this. If hopefully for the Celtics, for Celtics fans, the other guys finally understood the pecking order. Hopefully the young guys who all year long have been thinking, we went to game 7 without you, Kyrie. We can do it without you, Kyrie. You shouldn't be the number one guy. We should all be together, equal, Kyrie. Hopefully last night okay. That's why he's Kyrie Irving.
Exactly. Right? See, this is what I say about Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry's built for the regular season. Needs a screen, needs a design play, works his butt off. He's an excellent system guy. But if I get to see Kyle Lowry 7 times in 2 weeks, I can marginalize him.
No question.
So a lot of these Celtic players, all of them I would say, except a little bit with Tatum and Kyrie, I can marginalize Marcus Smart, Al Horford, Gordon Hayward.
Yep.
The playoffs are about guys who can get the bucket regardless. And Kyrie's a monster on that.
Yeah, I agree.
Now let's segue into Philadelphia. So I said to start my show, Philadelphia, I think, is at a real interesting spot. They're becoming Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City had Durant, Harden, and Westbrook. And they chose Westbrook because at the moment he was better than Harden, and he was more exciting, aesthetically more pleasing than Durant. So here's Philadelphia. And I think OKC chose the wrong guy. The league was headed to three-point shooting, and he was your worst shooter. So here's Philadelphia. They're locked into Embiid. They got Butler. Let's not count Tobias Harris right now, or JJ. They're both good players. But let's talk about Embiid, Butler, and Simmons. Embiid is better than Simmons now.
Right.
But if you look at where the league has been, where it is, and where it's going, Houston's got it right. If you just have to have 4 3-point shooters. Simmons is great at getting the ball to them, and he can close. If you keep Embiid, he's not an elite ball handler.
So you're saying you would pick Simmons over Embiid if you had to pick one of the two to build around?
Westbrook was better in the moment than Harden, but where was the league going? Embiid is better today than Simmons, but Embiid doesn't shoot threes. He doesn't kick the ball perfectly.
He shoots them better than Simmons.
Okay, but he's not elite. So where the league's going? So Embiid doesn't shoot great threes. He's not a ball handler that gets him to threes. So to me, fork in the road, OKC, fork in the road, Philadelphia. Go ahead and bury Simmons today. Redick, Harris, Butler. You could get a ton moving Embiid.
That's an interesting. Okay, let me just say this about your point about Harden and Westbrook. I remember doing an informal poll of about 70 people around the league, coaches, scouts, executives, and so on, and asking them, if you're OKC, would you trade Westbrook or Harden? And most said, it was close, but most said Westbrook. Even back then, but like you said, and they tried to keep Harden, they just didn't want to max him out, super max.
So most of the guys in the league
saw it.
They saw where the league was going.
Yep. So there's that. First of all, I don't think I have to make the decision, right? I'm not saying it's one or the other. If I'm Philly right now, I'm trying to keep both.
Okay, they don't play very well together.
Yeah, but they're young.
They're both closers at the rim. Neither shoots threes.
But here's my point. If I'm running the Sixers, and even if we get beat in this round, but if we get beat, which I think will happen in the second round, I'm changing my coach, okay? So I'm bringing in a new coach who can hopefully put in a better system that maximizes those two guys and everyone else. But I'm also this is Simmons' second year. He came back this season with no jump shot and no more confidence in his jump shot than the season before. I don't like that. But I'm going to give you one more shot. I'm going to give you this offseason to see, look, Ben, you've seen it 2 playoff series in a row. They can take you out. I need you to work day and night on this jumper. Don't come back here next season with the same jump shot or lack thereof. And if he doesn't come back with a better jumper, at least the confidence to start taking them in games, then I'm going to probably have to move on from him. Unless you want to put him, look, you can put him, if you want to get rid of Embiid and make Simmons like a newfangled center or power forward?
I think Westbrook and Durant didn't work together. I think you had to move one. I don't think Embiid and Simmons work together.
They don't work right now because Simmons can't shoot. So I have to put him on the block to have somebody guard him, and that forces Embiid out. Embiid's got, look, the issues with Embiid, from what I'm told, he's not a huge worker. He's 15 pounds overweight, and people think that's the problem with his knees.
That's why I'd move him.
So I get you there, but what I will say about Embiid is this. For today's game, you're right. What is Houston? Houston's got it right. Houston shoots threes or paint shots. He can kill you with paint shots.
But the problem is...
And if I don't have Simmons having to hover on the other block, I can just have Embiid down there most of the game, and nobody can stop him. If I can get the mentality of Embiid of, look, if they don't double you, you score 40 on them. If he'll take that mentality and he can pass out of the double when they do, put shooters around him, you can win in this league with that. And he can shoot. Like, he's going to get better at shooting threes, too, and jumpers. My only concern about Embiid is his health and the work ethic going forward.
Heavy work ethic, been hurt, doesn't shoot threes.
I'm telling you right now, Simmons is draining threes.
They're going to become Oklahoma City. They're going to make the wrong choice on this. Where is the league going?
So this
summer,
you
cannot have 2 guys who can't shoot threes. You can
I'll give you that.
Okay, so you get one. I'll take Simmons as the one.
And put him down low?
Ben, I want 13 assists to shooters, and you score in the paint. Ben will be your interior scorer. You can't, no hand check in this league. You can't stop him.
So this summer you're making the move.
This summer I'm making the move.
All right. I would give it another year, but I give it another year.
Let's move to the Lakers. A story came out from somebody, Ramona Shelburne, I know, George Sedano, I know, and I trust both. And they both came out and said, people are telling Ty Lue and Monty Williams don't take the Laker job. I'm not asking you to validate their sources, but I do believe we've reached a tipping point. This year was a bad PR year for LeBron. First time, like even people like me who liked him kind of moved off him. Where do you stand on all this? I thought about this morning, Chris. I'm LeBron James. I'm in my Brentwood mansion. I wake up. LeBron, his whole career, never wanted to give up flexibility. One-year deal, one-year deal. So this year he goes, I'm going to give up flexibility. He's waking up this morning. He's got no GM. His young players are hurt. Magic quit. He doesn't trust Pelinka. LeBron's whole career was, I'm not giving up flexibility. He did. Is he waking up this morning going, what the hell did I do?
Well, look, it's a mess with the Lakers. There's no question. Here's the First of all, if a coach, as difficult and challenging as it may be to coach LeBron, if a coach doesn't want to coach him, knowing you're going to have a chance to win the championship, I don't want that coach. Because look, was Shaq difficult?
Yes.
Was Kobe difficult?
Yes.
Was Michael at times difficult? So a superstar can be difficult. The problem with the Lakers job is the front office. They're doing it backwards. What coach is taking that job not knowing who the president is? Or the Lakers need to either, I said they need to go out and settle their front office situation. Hire a president and let him and Pelinka hire the new coach.
Let me ask you this.
Or announce that it's Pelinka.
Okay, so I could be crazy on this, but you don't need an NBA coach. You don't care what your coach isn't going to dictate your personnel. Why do I have to hire a coach in the next month? Can't I just wait and get the right GM first?
Yes.
It's not like the NFL. Like, if you had a draft coming up, you want to get your coach in before the NFL draft because if you have an offensive guy, Greg Williams defensively, he's got a system.
Right.
There's offensive coaches. Sean McVay has a system. But in the NBA, I don't need my coach for the draft.
That's my point. They're doing it backwards. And if I'm looking at the Lakers job, my main problem is what's going on with the front office. Because if you're the coach, if you have a president who believes in you and who empowers you, you can coach LeBron James. And if LeBron, say, doesn't like the coach or has issues with him, if the president says, look, if you're going to win in L.A., LeBron, it's going to be with this guy. Just like Pat Riley did in Miami, LeBron's got no choice but to go out and work with that coach. And so if I'm a coach looking at the Lakers job, I always said this about Luke Walton. I wasn't the only one. Everybody was saying it. His challenge with the Lakers is that Magic and Pelinka did not hire him. So when things go wrong, he's not their guy. They're not tied to him. If the Lakers hire their coach now and then later bring in a president who's not tied to Ty Lue, then how much, or whoever the coach is, that coach could eventually become a scapegoat and you've got problems. And if you're the president going in, let's say they hired a coach first, and then later they bring in a president. What power does that president have? A president wants to be able to hire his basketball operations staff and his coach. Magic, we know now, wanted not only Luke out, but Pelinka out, Rob Pelinka out. What Magic did wrong was when he was hired as president, there were already rumors circulating that Pelinka was the GM, and 2 weeks later they announced it. That tells you Magic really didn't have the power of a president. And he didn't realize it until a couple weeks ago. And he was like, I'm just a figurehead. Let me get out of this job. But if he's the president and you already have the GM in place, your coach is already there, what power does that president have? So the problem with the Lakers' job is the front office instability right now. I know some people may say they don't want to play with LeBron, but again, for all the challenges it brings, Ty Lue has a ring. And any superstar can be challenging. You got to have the guts to be able to coach him. If you got the front office backing you, you have a chance to win a championship with LeBron, or at least get there. Why wouldn't you want that?
How about this story? So Joy had this in Herdline News, where David Griffin's the new GM of the Pelicans. He's like, yeah, I mean, we got Anthony Davis. I don't have to trade him. I'm going to keep him here, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't buy it.
Right.
But if David Griffin, and people respect him, can sell Anthony Davis on staying, my takeaway is, oh, then Anthony Davis can't be traded. Kyrie's not coming to the Lakers. Kawhi's not. Durant's not. Clay's not. Cross your fingers on Jimmy Butler. if David Griffin is as good a salesman, and LeBron likes him, but if their whole franchise is down to this, they got to keep Anthony Davis. Because I don't think the Lakers are going to land a free agent. Did you buy that press conference yesterday?
Well, I think Griffin did a great job at it. But here's the key sentence that he said that everybody needs to look at. The key sentence. You're either all the way in or you're all the way out. There's no in between. That's it. He said that's going to be his message to Anthony Davis. Now, I believe Griff means that, but it also gives him an out to trade Davis because Anthony Davis is not going to be all the way in.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.